Revelation chapter 5, the Scroll and the Lamb. Welcome to day 1 of 6 as we visit the 6 themes revealed in Revelation chapter 5. As we revisit this chapter, may we be reminded that history is not out of control. The scroll remains in the Father's hand. Let us now turn our attention to the Word of God. Revelation chapter 5, the Scroll and the Lamb.
Welcome to this explainer. We're kicking off a massive 6-day journey through Revelation chapter 5. This is day 1, and we're diving right into the ultimate mystery, the 7-sealed scroll. Let's uncover God's hidden redemptive plan together. So I want you to imagine a cosmic courtroom. The stakes literally couldn't be higher. And right at the center of it all, a sealed scroll. Now, why in the world would a simple document cause an ancient prophet like John to break down and weep uncontrollably? Like, what actually happens when the universe's ultimate plan is locked away, seemingly out of reach forever? Well, that's exactly the mystery we're unpacking today. But hey, before we get completely swept up in the tension of that locked scroll, we've got to keep our eyes on the ultimate victory. Revelation 5:12 gives us our anchor verse for this entire series. Worthy is the Lamb who was slain to receive power and riches and wisdom and strength and honor and glory and blessing. Keep that glorious resolution in the back of your mind as we investigate this. All right, let's step into section 1, the cosmic courtroom. Now, there's an absolutely incredible shift that happens between Revelation chapter 4 and chapter 5. In chapter 4, the focus is all on God as Elohim, the creator of the physical universe, right? But then we hit chapter 5 and the focus just violently shifts. God is now acting as Yahweh, the covenant-making redeemer. Heaven is preparing to sing this new song, which shows us that redemption is actually an even more profound display of glory than the creation of the universe itself. How amazing is that? And there is a tiny, kind of brilliant grammatical clue here that holds massive weight. John describes the scroll as resting on the right hand of God. The Greek word used there is epi, meaning lying upon the open palm. So God isn't clutching the scroll defensively in a closed fist. You know, he's actively presenting his sovereign plan to the heavenly host. He's inviting its execution. Which brings us to section 2, a bizarre sealed scroll. If we look at the anatomy of a typical first-century scroll, it was usually made of papyrus or maybe treated animal skins, averaging about 15 feet long. But John notes something highly unusual here. It's written on the inside and on the back. Now, standard scribal practice was to write only on the smooth inside. You'd only write on the rough reverse side if you completely ran out of space. It's basically the ancient equivalent of writing in the margins because you have so much left to say. A scroll written on both sides like this is called an opistograph. And the fact that this scroll is an opistograph means the author had so much to say about God's plan that the text literally spilled over. It indicates a full, comprehensive, and exhaustive message. The document is absolutely complete. There is zero room for human additions or edits. The whole shebang's right there. But it's not just full, it's perfectly sealed. The number 7 is presented here to emphasize absolute completeness. It represents the perfect sealing of the scroll by the 7-fold Spirit of God. This ensures that its contents remain entirely hidden, holy, and completely inaccessible to any unredeemed creature. No one's taken a sneak peek at this. And we can actually connect this clue directly to first-century history. Under Roman law, a last will and testament, like the wills of Emperors Augustus or Vespasian, required exactly 7 wax seals from 7 witnesses to authenticate the inheritance and prevent any tampering. So this scroll, it's the ultimate, legally binding, tamper-proof document of the cosmos. Let's look at section 3, clues from ancient prophets. Because John actually isn't the first to see a scroll like this. Hundreds of years earlier, the prophet Ezekiel received a double-sided scroll from a heavenly hand, and it was filled with lamentation and woe. Historically, a double-sided document in prophecy signals complete divine judgment. It's a solemn warning that leaves absolutely zero loopholes. And then we have the prophet Daniel. In Daniel 12:4, after receiving a massive vision of the future, Daniel was told by an angel to shut up the words and seal his prophetic book until the time of the end. Well, this perfectly matches the unsealing event we're investigating right here in Revelation 5. What was concealed and sealed in Daniel's day is finally ready to be revealed because the time of the end has actually arrived. This leads us right into section 4, the crisis of the cosmos. Okay, so the scroll is ready, God is holding it out on his open palm, but there's a massive problem. A strong angel shouts, Who is worthy to open the scroll? This mirrors the historical Second Temple liturgy. Back then, the president of the temple would search for a priest to perform the holy service, and that priest had to be legally and morally spotless, totally blemish-free. So in the heavenly court, they were searching the entire universe for someone with the legal, moral, and ancestral worthiness to approach the divine presence and execute this document. And they find absolutely no one. When no one in heaven, on earth, or under the earth is found worthy, John doesn't just shed a quiet, dignified tear of disappointed curiosity. The Greek text uses the verb eklion, or this denotes loud, vocal, convulsive wailing. It's the exact same word used to describe the Apostle Peter weeping bitterly after denying Jesus. John is in a state of absolute, intense emotional agony here. So why was John weeping so violently? Because he realized the horrifying theological consequences of a permanently sealed scroll. Think about it. If no one can open it, unchecked evil just continues. The martyrs are never vindicated. God's covenant promises fail. If that scroll stays closed, human history is just meaningless chaos. It's a terrifying thought. But then we arrive at our final section, God's sovereign plan revealed. Thankfully, the story doesn't end in despair. An elder taps John on the shoulder and basically tells him to stop weeping. Why? Because God's absolute sovereign control is never actually in jeopardy. As Isaiah brilliantly stated centuries prior, God declares the end from the beginning. His perfect counsel shall stand. History is not just some series of random accidents. It's a purposeful narrative securely held in the hand of the sovereign God. When we put all these clues together, the 7 seals, the front and back writing, the prophetic parallels, we finally see its true identity. This scroll is the ultimate title deed to all creation. It represents God's comprehensive redemptive program. When those seals are broken, it initiates the legal eviction of the usurping forces of darkness, reclaiming the inheritance for the rightful heirs. It contains both the judgments that will cleanse the earth and the salvation that will entirely restore it. We look around at our world today, and honestly, it often looks like unchecked chaos. But Revelation 5 pulls back the curtain to show us reality. So here is the big question for you. Even when your own life feels completely chaotic and uncertain, can you trust the one who securely holds the scroll of history in his open right hand? Nothing is outside of his control. Next time, in D2 of this explainer, we're going to look closely at the only one in the entire universe who steps forward with the worthiness to take that scroll. You absolutely won't want to miss it. See you then.